Your skin will dissolve in seconds. The alien medic's voice hissed through the translator, cold and metallic. The room fell silent. Only the low hum of the ship's engines filled the void. Commander Rian Vale didn't blink. He just smiled, slow and human. One of those smiles that unnerved every species who didn't quite understand confidence without armor. Guess I'll hold my breath. Then, gasps rippled through the gathered alien crew. The airlock lights glowed a warning crimson. Outside that door was Cathrex, a planet so toxic that no known species had survived its atmosphere bare-skinned. Even the most advanced exosuits failed within minutes. It wasn't a planet. It was a chemical war zone pretending to be a biosphere. Rian flexed his fingers, his knuckles cracking like gunfire. His suit hung open beside him, its visor fractured from the last recon. There was no time to repair it. The storm outside was collapsing fast, and the rescue beacon from the crashed research pod was still active for now. In 7 minutes, the ion surge would wipe out every signal on the hemisphere. If the scientists inside that pod were still alive, this was their last window. The alien captain, a tall being of translucent scales named Threxar, hissed in disbelief. Human, you cannot. Cothrex air contains 76 corrosive compounds. Your lungs will liquefy. Your eyes, Rian cut him off with a shrug. Then I'll keep them closed. He slapped the manual override. The airlock hissed open. Don't wait up, the door sealed behind him. The moment stretched long and terrible. Then came the sound. Wind like knives, a storm that screamed through the canyon valleys. Cameras showed him stepping onto the cracked surface, his body exposed, breath fogging only slightly before the vapor burned away in the toxic mist. His heartbeat spiked. The ground hissed beneath his boots, and yet he stood. Inside the command room, the crew froze. Their instruments couldn't reconcile what they saw. The human wasn't dissolving. The toxins that should have shredded his skin on contact only left faint burns that sealed as fast as they appeared. He moved like a man walking through drizzle. Threxar's second officer whispered, "Impossible." "He is adapting?" Threxar narrowed his slit eyes. "No, he is resisting somehow." Outside, Rian's comm crackled. "Command, I'm at the ridge. Beacon signal strong. Going in." His voice was calm, but his breathing was heavy. He could feel the air burning in his lungs, a deep sting that reached bone. Every instinct screamed to turn back. But he grinned through it, tasting iron. "You said this planet hates life. Let's see if it hates me enough." Through the haze, shapes moved, dark insect-like silhouettes scuttling along the cliffs. The Cathrex fauna, corrosive and violent, drawn to the sound of his movement. He crouched, his eyes scanning. No weapon, no armor. Just a human and a dying sky. "Come on," he muttered. "I've fought worse mornings." The creatures attacked. Acidic limbs slashed the air. Rian ducked, grabbed a jagged rock, and smashed it into one's thorax. Acid splashed his arm. It burned like fire. But his skin blistered, healed, and hardened within seconds. His body changing, adapting. He didn't have time to question it. The pod lay ahead, half buried in crystal sand. He forced the hatch open and crawled inside. 2 scientists lay unconscious, their suits corroded through. He checked for pulses, faint but there. Relief flooded him, but then he heard the static hum again. The storm's energy buildup was accelerating. "Command, I've got them," he said, coughing. "But your window's down to 3 minutes. The surge will fry everything." "Rian," Threxar's voice came, strained. "You must return now. You won't make it back before." "Wasn't planning to." Rian ripped open the pod's interface, rerouting its backup core. "I can trigger the beacon to pulse through the storm. You'll get a lock on the signal. You beam them up. What about you?" He laughed, short and ragged. "Me, I'll be fine. Just a little sunburn," but as he said it, blood trickled from his nose. His vision blurred. His heart pounded too slow, too loud. The toxins were inside him now, deeper than before. Still, his hands didn't stop. He worked fast, overriding safeties, his thoughts sharpening through the pain. Humans were stubborn animals born on a death world called Earth, where fire and storms were teachers, not executioners. Outside, lightning cracked in blue arcs. The ground split, glowing from within. Time was running out. He slammed the final key. "Done." The beacon screamed to life, sending a burst through the storm. The ship's sensors caught it instantly. "Lock confirmed," shouted Threxar. "We have them." Rian smiled weakly, sinking to one knee as the walls trembled. "Told you," he breathed. "Don't wait up." The feed cut to static. Inside the command deck, silence reigned. The crew stared at the screen where the human had vanished. Then, through the interference, one faint heartbeat echoed on the monitor. Just one, faint, but steady, Threxar whispered. He lives? The medic hissed, impossible. And yet, on Cathrex's deadly surface, a human heart refused to stop. Rian woke to a silence so thick it pressed against his eardrums. The storm outside Cathrex had eased, leaving the world a strange twilight of toxic haze. His body ached, every muscle, every joint, but nothing a human had survived before had ever endured this. He flexed his fingers and felt the skin, strange in its resilience, almost humming with energy, healing faster than it should. Still breathing, he muttered, voice hoarse. Good start. Inside the ship's hold, the two scientists he'd rescued stirred. Alara, the younger of the two, blinked against the dim red emergency lights. Her hair was singed, suit shredded, eyes wide with terror and awe. What happened? How are you? Rian stretched, ignoring the ache. You got lucky. I got lucky. Or maybe I'm just human. Take your pick. He offered a half smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Luck, yes. But the truth was stranger, and he felt it deep in his bones. Cathrex was trying to burn him alive, and he hadn't just survived. He had changed. Alara's voice trembled. But the air, it kills. It melts everything it touches. We barely made it. He nodded, brushing the back of his hand against his cheek, feeling the faint tingle of the alien toxins still in his bloodstream. Yeah, and it tried, and I still don't feel dead. Funny, right? From the control room, Threxar's scales reflected the dim light as he paced. Human. I have observed species adapting before, but never like this. Your very cells seem to fight the environment itself. Rian tilted his head, faintly amused. Guess Earth raised me on tough lessons. Fire, cold, hunger. I learned to dance with death before I even left home. Threxar froze. That is inadvisable. Advisable is boring, Rian said. He stood, testing his strength, the pain receding with an unnatural speed. Now tell me something. Why were those scientists on this Deathworld in the first place? The alien captain hesitated. They were sent to study a temporal anomaly, but his voice faltered as if the words themselves were dangerous. Reports say many expeditions fail, not from weather alone. Rian's brow furrowed. Many fail, meaning someone survived before me? Threxar's eyes glinted. Perhaps the ship shuddered. Warning alarms blinked red, pulsing in rhythm with the ship's core. What now? Rian asked. You're staring like I just grew wings. You do not understand, Threxar said. The temporal field. Cathrex is not simply toxic. It is reactive. It changes. It learns, Rian frowned. He had felt it. An almost conscious push from the storm, as if the planet itself was testing him, probing, waiting. Reactive, like me? Yes. Threxar's voice was a whisper now. And now? It will remember. The scientists groaned, both weak, both terrified. Rian crouched beside them, checking their vitals. Alara was trembling, her voice barely a whisper. Rian, what if it comes back? What if it knows you? Rian's eyes narrowed, the edge of his mind sharpening. Then we show it who's human. He knew what they didn't. Humans weren't designed to survive alien toxins naturally. Humans survived by bending the rules of life itself, by thinking faster, acting smarter, by refusing to quit when the universe expected them to fail. Outside, the storm clouds thickened again, a living shadow rolling over the jagged mountains of Cathrex. Flashes of blue lightning cut across the toxic mist, illuminating the monstrous shapes that crawled beneath the clouds, shadows that moved as if drawn toward something, toward him. Rian stood, feeling the pulse beneath his skin. The toxin wasn't gone. It was still inside, whispering through his veins like a secret challenge. I think it wants a rematch, he muttered. Alara's eyes widened. You're not scared? Fear's a luxury, he said. Pain too. I've got 7 seconds to decide if I run or if I fight. And I fight. Always. Threxar's gaze softened, an almost imperceptible hint of respect. You are unlike any human observed. You embrace danger. I call it Tuesday, Rian said, heading to the observation deck. Outside, the planet waited, breathing, alive with hazard. And yet, it felt almost curious, almost intelligent. A tremor ran through the hull. The ship shivered like it had a heartbeat of its own. From the sensors, readings spiked. Movement in the valleys more than ever before. Not just fauna. Something larger. Something watching. Rian pressed his hand to the viewport, staring down into the storm below. His mind raced. Questions tangled with instincts. Why had the planet let him survive? Why had it allowed him to reach the pod? And why now? Did it seem to want him to leave, or did it want to trap him? He swallowed hard. Human or not, instincts screamed that Cathrex was no longer just a hazard. It was a predator, learning, testing, waiting. And he was the prey that had survived. He turned back to the team. Listen up. We've got seconds, not hours. We're leaving this planet alive, or we're not leaving at all, and I don't plan to die on its welcome mat. Alara shivered but nodded. Even the alien crew looked unsettled. For the first time, Cathrex had truly unnerved them. Rian clenched his fists. Pain, fear, unknown toxins. None mattered. Humans survived because humans refused to bow. And right now, he had to show every being watching that no matter the world, no matter the death, a human could still walk through fire, bare-skinned, and laugh. The storm roared louder, shaking the ship. And from the valley below, something massive moved. Something that would make the next 7 minutes even more dangerous than the first. Rian grinned. Bring it on. The observation deck shook violently, throwing Rian against the reinforced viewport. Below, Cathrex churned like a living wound, acid rivers slicing through jagged stone, thunderclouds roiling with blue fire, and shadows moving in impossible ways. The sensors blinked frantically. Whatever was down there wasn't natural. Alara clung to the railing, her hair damp with sweat and condensation. Rian, that thing, what is it? Rian squinted. If it's asking me what I think it is, it's bigger than the stories. And it knows I'm here. He ran a hand through his short, sweat-matted hair. The toxin still throbbed beneath his skin, each cell alive, buzzing like it had a mind of its own. This planet, it learns from you, from me, from fear. Threxar's scales shimmered under the emergency lights. I have never witnessed a biosphere act as predator in real time. The readings are inconsistent. It adapts to our presence. Rian's grin was sharp. Sounds like a warm-up for me. I'm human, remember? Adaptation's my favorite game. Lightning ripped through the haze below, illuminating the shape. Massive, multi-limbed. Metallic glints along its exoskeleton. It wasn't an animal. Cathrex wasn't merely poisonous. It was sentient in a way no human had mapped. And it had noticed him. The ship's alarms screamed. Hull integrity compromised, one system announced. Wave impact in 5 seconds. Rian grabbed Alara's shoulder. Strap in. Don't scream. It doesn't help, and I hate screaming. The deck shook again. Below, a tidal wave of acid-laced mist surged up the canyon walls. The shadow of the creature moved with eerie intelligence, avoiding the rivers following his scent, or something like it. His bare skin prickled. His body felt like a live conduit, every cell reacting, every nerve singing. He flexed his hands. The minor burns from the storm were gone. He wasn't just surviving, he was evolving, just a little. Alara, hold the med kit, he barked. You're going to need it if the storm gets clever. The creature roared, a sound that vibrated through the hull, through the ship, even through the air in his lungs. Rian didn't flinch. Humans had stared death in the eye before, trapped. In collapsing mines, sinking ships, nuclear firestorms, and walked out laughing. This wasn't different. It was bigger, meaner, smarter. But so was he. Captain, Threxar hissed. The creature is not attacking blindly. It is. Assessing. Good, Rian said. Let it assess me. I'll show it why humans are terrifying. He moved toward the airlock, barefoot, bare-skinned, heart hammering. Each step burned, but he ignored it. Pain was temporary. Survival wasn't. The scientists groaned from the medbay as systems sparked and flickered. We can't hold them much longer, one cried. Rian paused, hand on the hatch. Then we improvise. He grabbed the containment field generator. We'll fry its sensors, give it something to think about besides me. Threxar's mandibles clicked nervously. You will die. You cannot withstand direct exposure. Rian laughed, a low human chuckle that carried defiance. Not withstand? I adapt. Watch closely. He triggered the field. Sparks flew, and the air inside the bay shimmered with energy. Below, the creature recoiled, seemingly confused, its multiple limbs retracting slightly. It hissed through the storm, a voice of wind, acid, and raw intelligence. You feel that? Rian said, breathing hard. That's a warning, and warnings are my favorite part of conversation. Ilara's eyes went wide. He's changing. Look at his skin. Rian flexed again. The minor burns had healed. His skin had grown slightly thicker, a subtle metallic sheen reflecting the stormlight. The toxin wasn't killing him. It was integrating, teaching him, strengthening him. A human had never survived Cathrex, let alone absorbed it. Below, the creature hesitated, and for the first time Rian noticed something terrifying. Cathrex itself seemed to ripple, almost sentient, following the creature, anticipating its actions. The planet wasn't just reacting, it was strategizing. Time's short, Rian said. Storm's building again. We leave now or we're decorating the crater with our bodies. He grabbed the two scientists, lifting them over his shoulders with surprising ease. His muscles screamed, but his adrenaline drowned it out. Hold on tight. Humans improvise. We survive. Threxar's voice cut through the calm. Human, what you are doing defies every protocol. You cannot— I can, Rian interrupted. And I will. Stick close, Threxar. You'll want to see this. Lightning split the sky again. The creature roared, moving in perfect tandem with the storm. Rian sprinted toward the drop bay, every instinct alive, every nerve on fire. Cathrex tried to kill him, and yet he had learned faster than it could anticipate. Humans didn't just survive, they outsmarted death itself. The drop bay doors loomed ahead. Beyond them, the escape craft waited. Time was no longer measured in minutes, it was measured in heartbeats, each one a fragile thread. The creature followed, intelligent, relentless, testing his speed and cunning. Rian vaulted over a torn bulkhead, landed hard, pain flaring, but he kept moving. He looked back, grinning through grit and blood. Come on, show me what you got. And in the swirling storm below, Cathrex pulsed, alive, aware, and hungry. Rian's boots slammed against the metal floor of the drop bay. Sparks flew from torn conduits, and the acrid smell of burning circuits mixed with Cathrex's lingering toxins that had seeped into the ship. Every nerve in his body screamed warning, but the human grin never left his face. Move, he shouted, hoisting the first scientist, Ilara, into the escape craft. Her eyes were wide, her hair plastered to her face. I can't, it's— Don't talk, Rian interrupted. Just breathe. Humans improvise under pressure. That's rule number 1. The second scientist, Malik, staggered forward, coughing, his hands slick with corrosive residue. Rian caught him mid-fall, swung him inside like a bag of grain, and slammed the hatch shut. Outside, the storm tore across, Cathrex like a predator, lightning slashing through acid-laden clouds. The massive creature from below emerged from the haze, a shifting silhouette of glinting exoskeleton and coiling limbs. It moved with precision, each step deliberate, as if calculating where he would be next. Cathrex itself seemed to pulse beneath it, alive and aware. The ship groaned under the assault, the floor vibrating beneath their feet. Rian's bare arms flexed, tiny burns flaring across his skin before fading. He felt the planet's toxins now coursing through him, almost symbiotic, whispering in every cell. Pain no longer slowed him. Fear no longer bound him. He was human, and Cathrex's rules no longer applied. Are you crazy? Malik gasped, gripping the edge of the console. We can't fight it. We're exposed. Rian snorted. I don't fight it. I outthink it. He slashed at the damaged console, rerouting power to the escape engines. Sparks erupted. The ship shuddered, groaning, as if Cathrex itself was resisting. Time's against us and every second counts. Listen to me. We punch through the eye of the storm, or we fry trying. But we move, always forward. The creature below roared, and the shockwave rattled the craft. Alarms blared. Threxer's voice crackled through the comm. Human, the atmosphere will corrode your engines in under 30 seconds. You cannot survive. 30 seconds is plenty, Rian said, grinning. Ever hear of improvisation? He slammed his palm onto the ignition panel. Sparks flew, electricity arcing across the room. The engines shuddered, coughing, then roared to life. The ship lurched forward. Acid rain sliced across the viewport like knives. The creature lunged and the storm twisted, reacting, bending the air itself to block their path. Rian felt the heat against his skin, each drop of acid sizzling and vanishing almost instantly. The toxins weren't killing him. They were teaching him. He flexed his fingers. Think. Move. Adapt. His mind raced through possibilities, contingencies, angles of escape. Ilara clutched his arm. We're not going to make it. You underestimate humans, he shot back. We're born to survive worlds that try to kill us before breakfast. Watch closely. The ship lurched again, narrowly missing a jagged spire of crystallized rock. Rian rolled with it, barefoot and bare-skinned, feeling every vibration in the hull. The creature followed, every movement precise, like a shadow designed to counter his every decision. Cathrex wasn't just alive. It was a predator with intellect learning, evolving, and Rian could feel its focus on him. The sensors screamed, hull breach imminent. Rian grabbed a plasma torch from the wall. Sparks erupted as he cut a panel, rerouting power directly to the forward engines. Sometimes you have to break the rules to survive, he muttered, sweat mixing with blood. His bare skin glimmered in the stormlight, metallic, almost armored. The toxins weren't just inside him anymore. They were part of him. Lightning struck the ground outside. The craft lifted, engines screaming, acid sizzling against the hull. The massive creature jumped, limbs extended, jaws open, but Rian had already plotted the trajectory. He banked hard, narrowly evading the attack, feeling the storm respond to his movements as if the planet was learning, adapting, and for the first time, uncertain. Threxar hissed through the comm. It is, and pausing. It did not anticipate that maneuver. Rian smirked. Humans rarely do. Never forget it. We don't just survive the storm, we command it in our own way. The craft cut through the valley, engines blazing. Acid rivers hissed below, lightning cracked, and the creature roared again, frustrated. Cathrex pulsed beneath it, a living labyrinth of reactive intelligence, but the human in the cockpit had learned the rhythm. The planet was dangerous, but humans were relentless. Rian glanced at the scientists, their fear mirrored in their eyes. He gave them a grin that burned confidence into their hearts. We're not done yet. But remember, humans don't bow. We don't break. We don't quit. You'll see that firsthand. The storm ahead twisted like a living thing, and the creature began to flank them from the canyon walls. Cathrex had learned from the first attempt, but Rian had adapted faster. Faster than the storm. Faster than the planet. Faster than the death it had meant for him, and in that pulse of raw survival he felt it. Humans were designed for one thing, to survive impossible odds. And right now, Cathrex was learning what it meant to face one. The craft tore through Cathrex's storm like a blade through silk, metal shrieking under pressure. Lightning cracked above them, slicing the sky with blinding arcs. Acid rain beat against the hull, sizzling and vaporizing almost instantly against Rian's skin. Skin that was no longer just flesh, but something new, something that burned and healed, learned and remembered. Ilara clung to the console, white-knuckled. We can't outrun it forever. It knows every move we make. Rian's eyes glimmered. Exactly. And that's why I'm not running. He flexed, muscles coiling, every nerve humming with the toxins still thrumming through him. Cathrex had tested him, and he had passed. Now it was time to turn the test back on the planet itself. Sensors blared, multiple readings of movement. Not just the creature below. The canyon walls themselves seemed to pulse, shimmering with an almost liquid intelligence. Cathrex wasn't a battlefield. It was a predator, alive in every fiber, every molecule, and it had learned from him. Threxar's voice crackled through the comm, tense. Human. It is adapting faster than anticipated. If it intercepts your trajectory, you will not survive. Rian smirked. I'm counting on that. He toggled the manual override. Every instinct screamed danger. Every warning light blared, but he felt the pulse within him guiding him. This planet had tried to kill him. Every cell in his body remembered, and he was going to make it remember him first. The storm twisted ahead, an impossible wall of blue lightning and corrosive winds. Rian's bare arms flexed as he slammed the ship into a steep dive. The hull screamed, metal groaning. He could hear the storm's fury in his own heartbeat, the roar of Cathrex like a predator closing in. Then it struck. From the canyon walls, the massive creature launched itself, limbs splayed, jaws snapping with calculated precision. Rian rolled the ship, narrowly evading impact, and sparks rained from damaged panels. The scientists screamed, but Rian held them steady. "You think you know me?" he shouted, voice raw. "You think a planet can outthink a human?" The creature roared, a sound that rattled the craft, and for the first time Rian realized something. Cathrex wasn't just reacting. It was predicting him. The storm, the terrain, the acid rivers, they all moved in tandem as if the planet itself was learning his tactics in real time. Rian's grin hardened. Good. Then I'll teach it faster. He ripped open the auxiliary power conduit, sending a surge of electricity into the hull plating. Sparks erupted in a dazzling arc. Below, the creature hesitated, sensing the anomaly. Cathrex recoiled slightly. The planet's reactive intelligence had not anticipated improvisation. Alara gasped. He's using the ship itself. Humans don't just adapt, Rian said, voice steady. We innovate, and innovation is our weapon. He looped the ship around a jagged cliffside, the storm lashing against them like a living whip. Cathrex mirrored every move. Lightning split, illuminating the massive predator, but Rian was faster, sharper. Thinking 3 steps ahead, body and mind synced with the toxins coursing through him. He could feel them now, almost like an extra sense. A map of danger painted across his veins. Malik coughed violently, fear written across his face. We can't survive this. It's everywhere. Wrong, Rian said, teeth gritted, eyes aflame. We can, and we will, because humans don't give up. Humans survive. He dove the ship toward a narrow canyon just wide enough for the engines. Sparks and acid hissed as the hull scraped jagged walls. The massive creature lunged, but the canyon's narrow walls forced it to hesitate. Cathrex had learned much, but humans had a different kind of instinct. Rian's mind raced. He grabbed the auxiliary cables, rerouted them to the front plasma emitter. The ship roared, a blinding arc of energy slicing ahead. The creature roared in pain, retreating slightly as the plasma surged. Cathrex pulsed as if feeling the pain, as if the planet itself was learning fear for the first time. Did you see that? Alara whispered. He's teaching it. Rian grinned, sweat and blood mixing on his bare skin. No, kid. I'm reminding it who survives worlds like this. Humans do. Outside, the storm pulsed violently. The planet, the creature, the storm itself, they all focused on him. And yet, for the first time, Rian realized Cathrex had made a mistake. It had assumed death was final. But humans adapted, and humans fought back. He slammed the ship into a controlled dive toward a canyon ridge, engines screaming, heart pounding. The creature followed, but its movements were slower, more hesitant. It had learned, but he had taught faster. And in that brief hesitation, he saw the opening. Rian's grin widened. Time to finish class. The canyon walls of Cathrex narrowed sharply, jagged crystal spires slicing through the toxic mist like teeth. Rian's ship shuddered as engines roared, sparks dancing across scorched panels. Below, the massive creature stalked, coiled and waiting. Every pulse of the storm seemed to follow him, anticipating his move. The planet wasn't just alive, it was calculating. Rian's bare skin prickled with every step, every breath, every spark of lightning outside. The toxin inside him throbbed, almost like a second heartbeat, feeding his reflexes, sharpening his instincts. He flexed his hands. Pain burned, yes, but it healed faster than he could feel it. Cathrex had tried to break him, and instead it had forged him into something more than human. Alara, strap in tight, he said. We're going to teach this Deathworld a lesson it'll never forget. The scientists obeyed, wide-eyed, clinging to the rails. Threxar's voice crackled over the comm. Human, every protocol says you cannot survive this encounter. You are alone. I'm counting on it, Rian said, voice low and sharp. Alone's faster. Alone's flexible. Alone. Survives. Ahead, the canyon twisted. The creature lunged with terrifying precision, its multi-limbed body moving faster than any natural predator should. Lightning struck, illuminating the deadly geometry of its exoskeleton. Rian felt the rhythm in his veins. The toxin was alive, whispering, alerting, pushing him toward the perfect strike. He dove the ship sharply, scraping along a crystal outcropping. Sparks flew, and the creature's limbs slammed against the walls, miscalculating its trajectory. Cathrex reacted, but not fast enough. Humans didn't just adapt. Humans improvised. Humans learned faster than the planet itself. Rian grabbed the auxiliary plasma conduit. Time to turn the tables, he muttered. He rerouted the surge to the hull plating and weapon emitters. Sparks flew, and the ship roared as it discharged a pulse of energy into the canyon. The creature recoiled, screeching through the storm, and the canyon walls shimmered, reacting violently to the sudden overload. Cathrex writhed, twisting and pulsing like a living maze, trying to compensate. But Rian had predicted every move. Illara, look at it, Malik shouted. It's scared? Not scared, Rian corrected, eyes blazing. It's learning fear. And that's my advantage. The creature roared again, advancing, but every step now betrayed hesitation. Its instincts were adapting, yes, but Rian had trained faster. He dove the ship downward, weaving between crystal spires, drawing the predator into a trap of his own design. Cathrex pulsed beneath it all, angry and reactive, but every move the planet made now played into Rian's hands. The storm itself seemed to fight him, yet he fought back harder. Bare-skinned, bare-handed, every scar, every blister, every healed burn was proof. Humans weren't just survivors, they were masters of chaos. He felt the pulse inside him quicken, almost conscious, almost guiding. Use the canyon. Force it to corner itself. Rian's grin widened. He could see the pattern forming, the way the creature mirrored the storm, mirrored him. But he had set the rhythm now. Humans didn't follow rules. Humans made them. With a sharp twist, Rian dove into a narrow chamber between cliffs. The creature followed, too large, too precise. The walls pinched it, forcing it to coil awkwardly. Sparks erupted as Cathrex's reactive energy surged against the canyon walls. The creature froze for a fraction of a second, and that was all Rian needed. He released a full plasma surge into the chamber, the walls glowing, the storm reverberating in perfect resonance with his strike. The creature screamed, a sound that echoed through the canyon and rattled the very atmosphere. Cathrex pulsed violently, almost convulsively, and for the first time Rian sensed doubt within the planet itself. Got it, he muttered. Every predator has a limit. The storm began to dissipate in jagged bursts, the reactive intelligence of Cathrex retreating into pockets, recalculating. Rian's body, still alive with the planet's toxins, thrummed with strength and pain fused into one. The humans he'd saved looked at him with awe. Threxar's scales glimmered with something close to respect. Rian's grin was faint, bloody and defiant. Humans survive, he said simply. Even when the world tries to teach us a lesson in death, we learn faster, we fight harder, and we win smarter. Below, the storm slowed, the creature retreated, and Cathrex itself seemed to pulse with a new rhythm, one shaped by a human who refused to die. He leaned against the console, breathing hard. Pain throbbed, yes, but it was different now. It was a pulse of life, of survival, of dominance earned the hard way. Cathrex had tested him, and he had answered with something entirely new. Illara, Malik, we're not out of this yet, he said, still smiling. But remember this, humans don't just survive Deathworlds, we teach them fear. The storm, once a wall of death, now receded. Cathrex had learned from him, yes, but he had learned faster. And for a human born on Earth, that was victory enough. The storm had not disappeared. It had become a shadow of its former rage, simmering in jagged bursts, almost cautious. Cathrex's canyon walls glimmered with reactive energy, pulsing like veins across the living planet. And at the center of it all, Rian Vale stood in the cockpit, bare-skinned, bloodied, burned, but alive. Every inch of him radiated human defiance, every heartbeat a declaration of mastery. Illara, Malik, hold on. This is the final move, he muttered. His hands danced over the controls, rerouting power, opening plasma vents, igniting auxiliary thrusters. The storm shifted in real time, tracking him, learning him, but he had turned the tables. Humans didn't just survive patterns. They broke them. Threxar's voice quavered over the comm, reverent and tense. Human, Cathrex. It hesitates. You have changed it. Rian smirked, bare arms glistening with sweat and minor burns. Changed it? Nah, I taught it something it didn't know. Fear. The massive creature, the planet's apex predator, lunged for one last strike, coiling its limbs with deadly precision. Lightning flared as it attacked, but Rian dove the craft into a narrow canyon slit, forcing the creature to twist violently. Sparks flew from the hull as plasma arcs seared the chamber walls. Cathrex pulsed violently, trying to compensate, trying to anticipate, but he had made the rhythm now. Ilara. Now, he shouted. She toggled the final auxiliary surge, sending a concentrated plasma arc directly into the canyon's energy field. The creature screamed, a sound of pure rage and confusion, and Cathrex itself pulsed violently as if the planet had taken a punch straight to its nervous system. Rian gritted his teeth. Humans survive worlds like this. Humans command death worlds. His bare skin shimmered as the residual toxins and storm energy coursed through him, healing, sharpening, heightening every sense. Pain existed only to remind him he was alive. The creature faltered, then recoiled, retreating into the depths of the canyon. Cathrex pulsed in rhythm with it, its reactive intelligence shaken. For the first time, the planet's fury was tempered by caution. And Rian? He breathed deep, feeling every burn, every scar, every pulse of alien energy inside him. Humans had learned to fight chaos, and chaos now recognized them. Ilara. Malik, he said softly, almost to himself, almost to the planet. We survived. All of us. Outside, the storm began to break apart. Lightning arced high. Rivers of acid hissed harmlessly into evaporating mist. And the canyon seemed to sigh. A living being acknowledging defeat, or at least recognition. Cathrex had tested him. It had tried to burn him alive. It had tried to teach him fear, and he had answered with something it could not destroy. Human ingenuity, resilience, and stubborn defiance. Threxar's voice softened, almost reverent. You are unlike any species I have known. You walk unarmored through death itself and yet survive. Rian chuckled, blood and sweat dripping from his brow. We're designed for it. Humans are stubborn. We endure fire, we endure storms, we endure worlds that want to kill us. And Cathrex, it just learned that lesson too late. The scientists, trembling but alive, looked at him with awe. Their fear had transformed into reverence. You're a human, Ilara whispered. Rian smiled, wiping soot from his face. Yeah, one of the stubborn ones. The ones who don't die when the universe tells them to. The ones who learn faster. The ones who fight smarter. Cathrex pulsed one last time, a massive heartbeat of reactive energy echoing through the canyon. The storm dissolved, retreating into pockets, leaving silence, awareness, and a human who had conquered the unconquerable. Prepare for liftoff, Rian said. We're done playing on this playground. Time to remind the galaxy why humans are dangerous, alive or dead. The engines ignited. The ship shuddered, then roared, lifting off the jagged canyon floor. Cathrex watched, pulsing faintly. A planet that had tested a human and found itself outmatched. The creature, the storm, the reactive intelligence, it would remember him. All of them would. Rian leaned back, bare hands resting on the console, heart still hammering. No suit, no fear, he muttered. And definitely no regret. Outside, Cathrex pulsed, a world alive, dangerous, and aware. And somewhere deep in its molten veins, it remembered a human who had walked through death unarmored, survived alien toxins, and left the planet changed forever. Rian Vale smiled, and for the first time in the storm, he felt complete. A human had triumphed, not just survived, and that triumph would echo through the stars.